Hi everyone, in this video we're going to talk about science. Let's just play a free association game. When you hear the word science, what do you think of? We have a lot of both positive and negative associations with science. For example, science is associated with discovery and the prevention, treatment, and cure of diseases. But science is also associated with negative things like people who are elitist and snobby. Because of historical inequities, we often have certain ideas in our heads about who can be scientists. In the Western world, science has traditionally been carried out by wealthy white men. Those are often the scientists that we're shown. So before I tell you what science is, I'd like to tell you what science is not. Science is not restricted to people of a certain race, nationality, physical ability, sexuality, gender identity, age, or socioeconomic background. It's not something you have to be a genius to understand. Humans naturally think like scientists, and scientific thinking has been a component of every culture in human history. Just because we may not have written records of those scientists, or those scientists may not feature prominently in American textbooks, doesn't mean they weren't brilliant, and doesn't mean they weren't there. Don't get me wrong, it's great that we have wealthy white men contributing to science. But our scientific understanding of the world is more complete when it includes scientists from every background. Science is not a left-wing liberal conspiracy. Although science can be associated with politics, science itself is nonpartisan. So what is science? I thought about this a lot a few years ago when climate change denial led scientists and science lovers to respond with the March for Science. I wondered, when we march for science, what exactly is it that we're advocating for? And after reading different definitions, here's what I've come up with. Science is the process of applying systematic, logical thinking to understanding the natural world. That's it. When you say, what happens when I add brown sugar to this batch of cookie dough and white sugar to this batch, you are performing science. If you have any doubts about your ability to do science on the basis of your personal characteristics or background, I want to reassure you that science is absolutely something that you can do. I think one of the biggest barriers to science achievement, especially in people from backgrounds that are traditionally underrepresented in science, is a lack of self-confidence, not a lack of ability. So as we begin this course, one of the things I'm going to ask you to do is to have faith in yourself. So if science is just the application of logic to natural processes to figure out how they work, and anyone can do it, why do we need to take science classes? Well, for one, there's a large body of scientific knowledge that scientists have developed over the years that we need to learn so that we can better understand what is already known about how things work. That is going to be a large component of the lecture section of this class. Part of the pre-existing established knowledge that you learn in lab courses is how to use lab equipment and the techniques you need to perform different experiments in the laboratory. We'll be teaching you that to the best of our ability in this virtual format in lab this quarter. A second reason that training in the sciences is important is that over the past thousands of years that people have been doing science, they have established systems that help us approach the questions we want to answer in the way that is the most likely to give us accurate results. In order to help you think like a scientist, we will be training you on the scientific method and experimental design. The statistical analysis of data is also an important component of scientific research, but apart from talking about the slope of a line, we won't really be covering statistics in this class.